Hi everyone, hope you're well. Yeah, it's been a while since I did a video on anything, apart from the little catch-up video that I did the other day. I wanted to talk about why it's important to talk about mental health. It's over the last couple of months, I've had a couple of articles out about my journey, and all the responses were very positive. I did have one response that was like, "Oh, sharing your story might trigger somebody," and there is always that risk in sharing your story. But I don't believe that you should not share your story for those reasons, because for the amount of people that it helps, it's priceless. Definitely don't fear sharing your story for any reason. I do think sometimes people that follow me on Twitter and maybe my Facebook probably gets a bit annoyed about the amount of stuff that I talk about in regards to mental health, but I really don't care. Because it's important that somebody that might see that doesn't feel alone. It's important to encourage others to speak out. I don't think there's anything right in telling somebody that they shouldn't talk about things like mental health, because speaking out was what saved me. So never be afraid to share your story. It will inspire somebody. It might inspire somebody to change their life. So yeah, that was the first point I wanted to make. Secondly, I just wanted to talk about mental health itself, and my journey on mental health only. There's been a lot of stuff about my journey as a whole, the car crash of everything that happened to me along the way, but I just literally wanted to speak about mental illness itself. For me it was PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, which is when events of the past can come back to you when they're triggered by certain things. So for me it would be conflict. I've always hated conflict, and it's pretty obvious why, because I grew up in a home where there was a lot of violence. I had a lot of hyper vigilance, and all that means I was always and still sometimes I'm still always a bit wary of things happening. Not like I used to be. I used to be literally on high alert all the time, waiting for something bad to happen, waiting for someone to have a go at me, waiting for someone to do something bad. Just lots of different things that trigger old memories, old traumatic memories for you. That's and it can be quite disabling, and it's just pretty awful. The other thing was anxiety, which can manifest itself out of the PTSD, which is again worrying about things that might not happen. Worrying about things in advance, always just being on a knife's edge, and being scared that something bad's going to happen. And the other thing was the panic attacks. So that would be a manifestation of all the anxiety building and building up, and then just kind of physically manifesting itself in a panic attack, where I just couldn't control or contain my feelings of anxiety anymore, and it would just result in it's hard to even explain, but it's very physical. You tremble like crazy, you lose control of your body. I had an incident where I couldn't walk properly because it had just gone through all my body, and my hands kind of went into a claw, and I couldn't open them. And I literally was like, my body tightened up, it was awful. Two of my friends witnessed that, and I know it really upset them. And the ambulance came, and the first time I had a panic attack, I actually thought I was having a heart attack, which is something a lot of people say. It's a very typical thing, and I wasn't, but it does mimic those things. Your heart starts going, and you lose your breath, and it's a really traumatic thing to have to go through. And it takes quite a lot of time to come down from it. I remember after every panic attack I'd have, it would take me a few days to kind of come down from it, because it's so physically exhausting. So don't beat yourself up if that is how, you know, you feel after a panic attack. Just take your time. And the other thing, it was depression, was when, you know, you just lose all kind of motivation for normal things that you would do in life. You know, luckily for me, I did shower, but that was probably the only thing I did day to day when I was in my deep depression. I used to just kind of sit around, hide from people. I remember there was a chair in my mum's living room where I used to kind of, there was a chair in front of a chair, and I used to sit in between the chair and hide behind the back of it and just kind of sit there. My mum used to always say, "What are you doing behind there?" And to be honest with you, I'd just be hiding, crying, going over old memories, beating myself up for stuff, just, you know, sitting there self-loathing really. Or I'd be in my mum's spare room, just kind of doing the same thing, just contemplating, you know, lots of awful things, just beating myself up, just hating my life. And that is something I know a lot of people can relate to, and it's just really, really dark, and you feel very captured by it. It's not something that you can tell someone to snap out of, which I know a few people did feel that way. Those people aren't what I would consider friends. You know, everybody that I have around me now is a friend, and never expected more than I could give at the time. So I'm very grateful for that. And if you do have anyone who's pressuring you or kind of acting like, why don't you snap out of it, those people either need re-educating if they're, you know, that kind of type, and they will listen, or those are people that you just need to remove, because mental illness isn't something that you just snap out of. It's something that takes a lot of time, a lot of self-care, and a lot of commitment from you. You do need to commit to getting better. You do need to take small steps every day. You know, do what you can, write it out, go for walks, spend time with people that care about you. You know, even spend some time with yourself. You don't necessarily need to be out there spending time with lots of people, and just kind of get to know you again. You know, find that self-love. I know a lot of people kind of get annoyed about inspirational talk and inspirational quotes, but that really helped me. It's not for everybody, but it helped me. And if it helps you, do the same thing. Read some, you know, motivational, inspirational books or real stories. And if that doesn't work for you, don't do it. You know, do what works for you. It's a very individual thing. Not everybody's case of mental illness is going to be exactly the same, and obviously nobody's journey is exactly the same either. So just do what works for you. You know what works for you in terms of self-care. Do things that make you feel comfortable. That's the main thing. And you know, sometimes it's good to do things that don't make you feel so comfortable. I remember with social anxiety, I used to hide and not go out and say that I was busy when I wasn't. But I think the first time I pushed myself and I went out with a friend and a couple of people I didn't actually know, and I was really scared, I'm not going to lie. But I was glad that I did it in the end. You know, at first you feel really scared. You think, oh, what am I going to talk about? They're not going to find me interesting. I'm really boring. I don't look like any of those people. I'm not pretty enough. You know, you just do all that beforehand. But I still went. Sometimes you do have to feel the fear and do it anyway. And I'd say when you do that, you know, I'm not telling everybody that they should do that, because I don't want anyone to trigger themselves or feel unsafe. But if you feel like you can do it, because you will really surprise yourself at how at what you can do and what you can achieve, and you'll always feel better for it. And every time you do take a step forward, you know, celebrate that, congratulate yourself, because it's not easy to recover from mental illness. It takes a lot of time, and even now as a recovered person, I still have to take my time to look after myself and you know, make sure that I don't exhaust myself and keep away from things that don't make me feel so good, and people. You know, I make sure that I put my mental health and my health all around in general first. So do the same things for yourself. You know, there's nothing selfish about self-care and looking after yourself. So do put yourself first in that instance and don't feel guilty for it. You know, if you're a mum and you've got commitments and family, even small things like, you know, going and having a bath, take a book in there, put some music on, have that time for yourself. It doesn't have to be, you know, it doesn't have to be massive amounts of time, but those little pockets of time does make a difference. So do that. You know, do what's right for you. Do what feels right for you. If it doesn't feel right, it's not the right thing. Our intuition does tell us a lot about ourselves, and the things that make us feel safe and the things that makes us feel good. Do listen to those things. And I'm going on a lot right now, so the main thing I just wanted to say was, don't be afraid to talk about mental health. Talk about it. It will help you. It will help other people. I spoke about it because I needed an outlet. You know, I'm so glad that I did. It saved my life. It's helped other people from what I know. Never be afraid. And if people are sick of hearing about it, tell them not to listen then. What are they tuning in for? Why are they following you on things? Why are they there? You know, that's their problem. You keep on going. You keep on talking about it. And yeah, I hope that, you know, helps you and helps you feel encouraged. And yeah, keep talking about mental health. It's necessary, and free your mind. Anyway, yeah, so if you do want to follow me on Twitter and hear all my mental health, childhood, domestic violence talk, it's Tasha K Benjamin, and Facebook is Natasha K Benjamin. And yeah, do get involved. Talk away, and don't care who cares about it. So yeah, and that's it now. So see you later and take care. Bye.